So we will get started. Okay, so first up, the agenda for the meeting today, we will first discuss the difference between a WCCEAL member versus a gold member, review the WCCEAL quarterly report. So we are going to go over the second quarter of the QI variable reports and summary and the trend reports. I'll be sharing some resources and education ideas, and we will conclude with a challenge. I put the challenge in quotation marks as we move towards the conclusion of quarter three. Okay, so understanding the difference between member versus gold member. Did you know that the ultimate goal of PEAL and WCCEAL is to have all of our members achieve gold member status? So when looking for an assisted living community that invests in quality improvement, consumers and family members can use the public WCCEAL member list to see which assisted living communities are members of WCCEAL, including those who are gold members. Now, gold members do take some additional steps beyond the base requirements of WCCEAL to help improve and ensure quality care of their residents. I am going to show you quickly on the website how you can identify this and what it also looks like to families as they are trying to source and identify where to place their loved one. So when you go to the WCCEAL website, you will see this map. This map identifies all of the WCCEAL participants. The standard participants and every participating is identified with that little green dot and circle. And then those gold members are identified with a star. And so, how you're probably asking, like, okay, well, I'm not familiar with this. How do I achieve gold member status? It's honestly so much simpler than you think. So once you become an active WCCEAL member and have been enrolled for at least 2 quarters, so you're actively participating and submitting your QI variables for the first 2 quarters, then you just need to take the following steps. So the first step is to make sure that you get those QI variables submitted each quarter. And then you actually will need to go in and review those reports. And so there is software within the database that can track that. So you'll just go in to your facility and you will review those reports. And I'll show you in the next step how to do that. And then on top of that, you just need to reach a 25% return rate on your annual satisfaction surveys. And then also review those surveys during that review period. So 2 things, you're already submitting the QI variables. So then the next step is just going in to review those reports. And then again, you guys are already submitting your annual satisfaction surveys or requesting those to be submitted. So we're just looking for, a 25% return rate on those. And then also you going in to review that. Now, coupled with all of the resources that we provide through PEAL, it is so easy to achieve that gold member status. We make sure that you have reminders. So watch your email. Taylor is incredible at sending out reminders about WCCEAL participation requirements. So we will continue to fully support your quality journey. We will encourage you to achieve this status and maintain gold member status in WCCEAL. In addition
I have to hear WCCEAL.
I'm sorry? Was there a question from someone? Okay, we'll keep going. And so, please do tune in. If you are not already tuning in to the monthly PEAL Pause, you can tune in live, you can watch the recording, you can listen to the recording. There's segments that are just a few minutes long, but they do provide new perspectives and ideas on how to approaching quality care and how to improve your facility culture, which has a direct impact on quality outcomes. You can find those recordings of PEAL Pause on our website and on our YouTube channel. So if you go to our website under member resources and just hover over that, you'll see the assisted living PEAL WCCEAL page. That page in and of itself has a lot of information for you and a lot of good resources, and it will make sure that you are connected to the appropriate pages on this website here. And so again, if you have Any questions about this? Because that's really what we want you to do. We want all of our members to stand out as gold members. Um, Primarily because one, it's going to help you with census issues, and it's going to help you with workforce, because when individuals see these gold stars, there's a clear indicator that you are achieving and dedicating your time to quality care metrics and high standards of quality care. And again, that plays into culture and workforce and stakeholder satisfaction, resident satisfaction. And so those gold stars are a great indicator. And we will fully support you to get there. And it is so easy to do that. And as a reminder, just simply by being an active WCCEAL member, you get full access to this website, the Clinical Resource Center, and it also provides regulatory relief when you qualify for those abbreviated surveys. So it is a win-win regardless by simply being a WCCCEAL member. Let's see. Okay, next up, we are going to go over and review the quality improvement variable data. I know that's kind of a mouthful, but I kind of want to touch base briefly about some of the information that came through in Q2. And so let's see. One quick reminder, if you are already a gold member, or you want to right now start working towards becoming a gold member, you must review your QI variable reports before September 14th. So that is why we are hosting this right now, to make sure you have a couple weeks advance notice. And so please be sure you go in and take a look at your information. I am showing you, because we are a sponsor, we are able to view all the information. But I'm not going to actually pull anybody's up. But when you log in, you'll be able to see your active information in live reports. So you can go in and review those. It's great information to kind of compare, to see, oops, I logged myself out, to see where you are at and how you can move forward. So let me get back in here. And there we are. And here we are. Okay, so when you go in there, so the categories are gonna show you specific to your facility, but also compare you to PEAL and WCCEAL as a whole. So all of the people that are participating in this. So I do want to identify some pretty incredible information first. When we go in here, our members you guys are doing great. I mean, you really are. I was comparing information with regards to staffing, even issues like, I know that like fall prevention, changes in disruptive resident behavior, medication errors. It's wonderful to see how you guys are achieving goals when compared to everyone that participates in the WCCEAL program, because it's not just YCAL members. I mean, there's people from WALA and Leading Age that also participate in this. And let me see, let's first pull up some information about fall preventions. So we are identified with this little blue graph. So all of our members have education and protocols to prevent falls. And you can see there are other assisted living facilities that just don't have that. So that is a huge kudos. That is something you should be very proud of, that you guys are already taking proactive steps to prevent falls, and you are achieving great goals. And it's wonderful to see the wide variety that you have. And also use this data to kind of compare and maybe look at ideas for what you're not currently offering in your facility, because there is a wealth of ideas and options and tools and resources and education to help prevent falls. So that is incredible. It was really good to see that. You guys are doing awesome this quarter. Another one is challenging or disruptive resident behavior. Um, so when we look at that, I'm looking at plans to address challenging or disruptive resident behaviors. So 96.9% of all of our participants that are involved in this have some kind of plan. That's incredible. I mean, that you are clearly overachieving and out achieving everybody else that is working within this. So again, I want to identify some of these great achievements that you have. The other one I also wanted to highlight, because we are going to focus on some successes, is medication errors, which is incredibly important. So obviously, like, there is administration of medication, but when you look at the medication error outcomes, 98.4% of all of our participants are actually tracking and monitoring staff medication errors. So when you can obviously identify issues with those errors, you can pinpoint to see what may be causing those areas and take corrective action. So that's incredible. I wish I could give you a round of applause right now and high five all of you, because you are doing remarkable in this when compared to other peers and other participants. I did want to touch, and because I noticed that there are individuals who maybe are not willing to answer questions, like you can see here on the COVID-19. So only 50% of our members were willing to answer these questions. I can't stress enough that by providing this information, it provides us with better data and allows us to ensure that we have the appropriate resources and training and materials available to you. Because the more data that we have, the more accurate representation we have as an assisted living community as a whole. And we want to make sure that we identify trends early and provide tools and resources for positive and corrective action as soon as possible. And this information does not hurt you in any way. It only helps provide better outcomes. So please don't be scared or intimidated to provide that information. We want full transparency and full honesty, and I promise you it's going to be helpful, and you're going to be able to see that along the way. Let me go back to the presentation. And in addition to on the equality website, in addition to the variables I just showed, there are trend reports. And the trend reports identify under 4 specific categories. So that's occupancy, falls with injury, infections, and hospitalizations and rehospitalizations. I don't know if you remember from the first webinar that we had, but we always talk about a small change or a 1% difference, because a 1% change can make a significant impact on your facility. And so I pulled the data to show how we were doing as compared from Q1 to Q2. So first, occupancy. Occupancy increased from 83.6% to 85.6%. And this is an average for all of our YCAL members who participate in WCCEAL. That is awesome. That is a 2% change. So you increased, you exceeded our expectations, and that is awesome. Falls with injury have also decreased. So on average, there were 2.2 falls. And this is all based on per 1,000 residents. So they base it down to, okay, how many times does somebody anticipate to fall? And you maybe had, as an average, 2 residents that would fall, that would result in injury, and now that number is closer to 1. So again, incredible. And now, we look between Q1 and Q2 at infections. Clearly, the first quarter, generally, we're going to see higher infection rates because of how infection rates work, right? So, but everything was reduced to 0 in Q2. That is not surprising. That is on trend with other participants in WCCEAL. And then hospitalizations and rehospitalizations, there was a slight increase. So it is trending just above average when compared to WCCCEAL as a whole. And I'm going to let me pull that information up, because I feel like it might be good to have a visual of that. Let me see here. And so again, this is data for everybody. So I'm able to do a comparison, and actually I'm going to change this so we can actually compare quarter one to quarter two and see those outcomes. So when you look at quarter one, the hospitalization, let's go to this. You can see, here are the averages. So you can see the average total hospitalizations for all of our WCCEAL members and WCCEAL and PEAL. They're interchangeable. The total average hospitalizations from everyone that's outside of, and in the black, you can see here's what it's averaging for everybody that participates in WCCEAL as a whole. This data is really important for you guys to utilize because you can see how you are doing. Again, I can see everybody's information. When you go and you'll be able to narrow down specific to your facility. So you can see where you're compared to PEAL, your other peers, or as people that are outside of this organization, and then also to WCCEAL as a whole. And it's really good to identify, because when you can start using this data to see trends, you can take corrective action or introduce new resources or education to be better than average, right? We want you to be better than average. And so we will continue to provide education and resources and tools so that you guys are the best of the best, right? We want quality staff to see this and apply for open positions at your facility. We want residents, families, and friends and loved ones to see your facility highlighted with a gold star on the WCCEAL map and say, hey, that's where I want my mom to be, or that's where I want my sister to be. So we want to make sure that you guys stand out, and this data is the best way to do that. Because once you can identify issues, then you can take the steps to alleviate those problems. And again, we're only looking for a 1% change. You don't have to have a complete 90-degree shift. It's just a 1%. When you're 1% better than you were before, it's an improvement, and that's all we are looking for, and that's all that you need to do to have incredible outcomes. Let me go back here. We do have, and so when I was looking at this, because you guys are doing really great in some of these other areas, I wanted to kind of identify some resources available for you with regards to hospitalizations and rehospitalizations. Definitely take advantage of the free training and resources available through WCCEAL on their website and the Clinical Resource Center, both available on the website. You have access to this. Please let us know if you're not able to log into the Clinical Resource Center, and we will make sure that you get access to that. I did link just a couple of resources and training material and tools that are related to hospitalizations and rehospitalizations. And also never hesitate to connect with the partners that we work with. We vet them. We are exclusive with the people that we promote and work with. I know CE Solutions, they're formerly CE Solutions, they're now called VGM EdCentric, and Pathway Health have really incredible training and resource tools. Or even look at your current online education provider, because I promise you that they are going to have training and materials that are relevant to hospitalizations and rehospitalizations, so that we can kind of stop that trend from increasing, and either keep it neutral or see it decrease. And this is a shameless plug. If you haven't already, please register for our fall convention. It is October 18th through 20th at the Osthoff Resort in Elkhart Lake. And if you register before end of day tomorrow, you are going to be entered into the early bird prize drawing. And so we give away $500 cash for that. So one person at the opening night reception on October 18th, we're going to draw a name, and you're going to get $500 cash. So try to get your registration in before the end of day tomorrow, so you can enter into that prize drawing. Registrations are going to stay open through the beginning of October, but it's just a good incentive, because we want to get people registered early, because that helps us kind of plan and make sure that we have the best of the best available for you come October. Now I'm going to get to a little challenge that I have for you. So first, when you see all of this data and you take in all of this information and you're doing all of these tasks, how does PEAL and WCCEAL participation impact your facility and your residents? Employees are attracted to organizations with a culture that values their work and focuses on organizational well-being. There is a positive relationship between organizational culture, job satisfaction, and the commitment of employees. So, job satisfaction in nursing home employees is associated with lower rates of resident injury and higher resident satisfaction of care. So, a supportive work environment can increase the level of quality care. Peel and WCCEAL bridges that gap to the operational cycle and provides you with the necessary resources, tools, and education to be successful in your quality care journey. So this is why I have this diagram right here. I am not tech savvy enough to try to make arrows in here to try to make it look like that. This is what I did. But everything is intertwined. That is that concept. So if you think about this wheel in your head, it's a circle. There's no hard corners. There's no end. Because each one of these tie into the other and they all have an equal impact on your facility. So when you think about culture, that helps with recruitment. When you think about acts of employee commitment, that helps with retention. Retention helps with satisfaction. Satisfaction helps with positive outcomes, and positive outcomes improve the culture of the facility, which then again help you recruit and retain quality staff. And again, it's cyclical. So you'll see that over and over and over again. And so that circle, when you think of that circle of quality care and that excellence, it cannot be completed without each piece of this circle puzzle. And just remember, we're never going to ask you to make significant changes or drastic cultural shifts. We will continue to focus on that 1% change, being 1% better tomorrow than you were today. And so as you continue on your quality journey and continue to be an active member of Peel and WCCEAL, we want you to focus on turning that dial 1%, kind of have a visual focus of this circle and just changing something by 1%. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but I want to share this story. And it's not really a story. Is it a matter of fact? It's a way of life. It's called the Rule of 100. So if you aren't familiar, it's a very important notion. The Rule of 100 states that if you spend 100 hours a year on a discipline, which it's just 18 minutes a day, you will be better than 95% of the world in that discipline, because it's all about consistency. So imagine what could be accomplished in your facility if you just committed 18 minutes of your day to something, to a cause. Maybe it's community engagement or resident enrichment or proactive care planning, or care innovations, or even something as simple as celebrating staff successes. Imagine that impact. Imagine the impact that would have on positive outcomes and risk mitigation. Imagine the impact on resident satisfaction. Imagine the impact on long-term care as a whole. Those small changes have significant results. Just again, another visual, a small pebble tossed into a lake eventually creates a large ripple. Again, we are talking just about 18 minutes a day. That's 1.25% of your day. It is 1% of your day. So our challenge this quarter is for you to think, what are you going to do with those 18 minutes of your day? What are you going to spend 1% of your day on to shift and improve quality outcomes in your facility? So that is the challenge that I have for you for the remainder of this quarter. And I appreciate you joining us today. I do want to open it up. If anybody has any questions, we always welcome feedback. We want feedback. We want questions. We want to know the best way to support you. And we will continue to evolve and grow and make sure that you are supported with education and resources and support, because that's what we are here for. Your success is our success. So if anybody do have any questions, I haven't looked at the chat box. I don't know if there's anything in there. But please, if you have questions right now, if there's something that you want to go over, also don't forget, please reach out to Taylor or myself and we can set up one-on-one training with you and your staff. So whether that's just getting more familiar with the WCCEAL website or having, a WCCEAL one-on-one training with your staff. So Please don't forget that. Kim, I see that you have the Gold Star qualifiers. Yes, let me go over that. So the difference between it's pretty simple when you think about it. So first you need to become a WCCEAL member and have completed at least 2 quarters of submitting QI variables. So once you take that step, once you have 2 quarters under your belt, then the next step is reviewing that data. And it's a good habit just to start doing that the second when you submit your QI variables. So when that information comes back, there's a review period and you need to go in and review the data for your facility. That's all you need to do. And then the next step is ensuring that you have at least a 25% return on your annual satisfaction surveys. And then also go in and review that. I can actually show you. Let me I think let me pull up the little chart. So what's awesome is there is a chart that this is an active chart. This is not just like a static picture. So it'll show you and identify when reports are due, and then how long you have to review that. So right now we are in the review period for when you can review the Q2 reports. And we are right now in the Q3 reporting period. And I believe that information needs to be submitted for Q3 by the middle of October. I will verify that. Oh, here, let me see the timetable. Let's see where we're at. Yep. So we are currently in Q3. And so the reporting period will end on September 30th. And so the review period for gold status, you can review that until September 14th. And then the submission period for Q3, you have 15 days. So all the reporting data that you acquire between July 1 and September 30th, you will submit that between October 1 and October 15th. And then you'll be able to go back in. And again, it's like cyclical. So then you'll be able to go back in and review that information. So that's just what you need to do. And then to achieve that gold status, it's going in to review your QI variable reports every quarter. And then the second step is just with the annual satisfaction survey, encourage your residents to submit those and then go in and review them. And then I always encourage people on top of that, please participate in these webinars and PEAL because it's just going to make your quality journey less bumpy.
Jenna, we did have another question also from Kim, if it matters if there's been an ED change over the past 2 quarters.
It does not, no. Because you are active at the facility level, staff changes do not impact your participation. But what would happen is if you forget to submit the QI variables, but luckily there is a little bit of a leniency in there because you do have to submit 3 out of 4 months. You have to have a 75% participation rate. So if there's a transition period and the ED didn't get something submitted for that quarter, then you can just take that over the next quarter and keep going. There are good, you're never kicked, truly banished from this program. We make it as easy as possible to keep you active, push you towards that gold status. And if something happens, there's efforts that we can take to get you back into quote unquote active status and back into then gold status. But that Kim, you do bring up a good point. So if there is an ED change, it sounds like then maybe the facility might need, a review of the process or updated information. Please reach out to Taylor and I. We are happy to give that information to the new ED or the new staff and train them and get them up to speed on the requirements. And what's important is we do want to know those changes because then we can make sure that the communications and the access is getting into the correct hands. Does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we are right at 10:31. I won't keep you any longer. This again, this is going to be recorded. We will add it to the website. We will make sure it's emailed out to you. If you want my little slide deck or even my notes, I'm happy to send that over to you. Again, all of this information is easily obtainable when you log into WCCEAL on the QID website. Again, there's just so much information on equality. So take advantage of that. It's free to you. So please have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.